Hey, hello guys, this is Nawaz, and today I'm going to be showing you how can you install an Apache web server on a CentOS 6 let's say system, CentOS 6 system, and how can you configure that. And further in this video I'm going to show you that how you can configure a virtual host and what is a virtual host actually, and I'm going to tell you some bit about RPMs and what is an RPM, what is yum, and some basic commands. So let's get right into it. Okay, so now I'm going to just open my terminal. As you can see, this is my CentOS 6. If you see a cat, now what is a cat? The cat is basically so cat is basically a command which prints the file on the terminal for you. As you can see, I printed this. It says CentOS release 6.10 final. So it's running 6.10. So let's get right into it. I'm gonna do an SSH to my IP address, which is okay, a mistake. I'm gonna log into root. What is root? I'm gonna tell you later. Okay, so here you can see I have a network interface call. What is an IP config command? In Windows you put an IP config which shows your IP configuration. In Linux we do an if config, or it shows this, you see, or you can do an IPR, which will also show you this. This is my IP address. So let's install the Apache web server now, but before that let me check if we have Apache running. So we do a net start to check if we have open port or not. It says there's no Apache service. Like as you can see, no Apache service here. So let me do an RPM query just to confirm if this package is installed or not. So HTTPD, in Red Hat based systems we call this as HTTPD. In Ubuntu, we say Debian, we call it as Apache 2. Okay guys, so let's do an RPM query to HTTPD. It says package is not installed, and we also need a database for our website. Okay, let's forget about database. Just do an RPM query about HTTPD. Okay, it says not installed, so we will install it by using yum. Now what is yum? Yum is a yellow dog update modifier which installs let's say a package manager for Linux systems, especially for Red Hat systems, and it will install this package along with its dependencies. So let's say if I want some HTTP package installed, so what it will do, like it will install its dependency 1 and 2 and 3 without us finding those packages. It will install automatically. So we'll do a yum. You'll understand a bit more now. Let me execute it. So you see I've installed. It says, as you can see, I'm just installing HTTPD, as you can see here, but along with that it's installing some dependencies, which is APR util and LDAP and whatever. Just do a Y for yes and enter. Okay, it's installed now. Before going further, as you can see that yum can resolve dependencies. Let's say yum can resolve dependencies or can install packages for this without you even concerning about it. So this is basically a difference between a yum and RPM. RPM doesn't install dependencies for you, but yum install everything which is required for this particular package, so you don't have to worry about anything else. So let's just start the service. For starting the service, let's say for starting, before just ignore this, Now for starting a service, basically HTTPD is a service. Anything that you do in a Linux server, it's a service, as the name suggests. Server, the one whose service provides a service. For starting a service, we have we can do like this: a service, service, and name of the service, name of the service, and a start, or we can do stop, or we can restart for now. And the other way is to use a relative part. Let's say etc init.d and httpd, the name of the service, and start, stop, or restart. Okay, so you can do any way you like. I'm just gonna do this way because I'm used to it. Before starting, let's see the status of this service. You can do status. It says it is stopped, so let's start the service. Now again, check the status of the service. It says it is running, and it has given some process ID for this. Now if you know, the port of the Apache is 80, so let us check if our server has opened this port. So to check an open port, we do a netstat -tnlp, where T stands for TCP, N stands for numeric, L stands for listening, and P stands for port. Now if you wonder what is this dash and TNLP, well, let me explain. If you do a netstat, you see the output is you don't know what you want to get, and it's just confusing, a bit of confusing. But with these options, when you specify a hyphen, it means an option or a flag or a switch, whatever you want to call it. So with these options, let's say if I put a T, it's just showing the TCP ports, you see. Now again, if I do an N, the output is not much different. Let's say if I do an L, which is for listening ports, it shows me port 80, which is listening, and this P stands for program. It says program name, Apache, running on port 80. So with this, we have confirmed that Apache service is up and running. Now one more thing we have to do is we have to enable the service so that whenever our server reboots, let's say when our server reboots, we don't have to start the service again and again and again. So we'll just do a check config, which means configuration, and we'll do on. What it basically does is, if you do, let's say list this, you can see that my Apache is off on this run level, or it is just I'll tell you what is run level. And for one, for one it is off, but for 2 is on, for 3 it is on, for 4 it is on, and for 5 it is on. So this command, if you see, if I do an off, you see everything is off. Now 0 stands for shutdown and 6 stands for restart, so it doesn't matter if it's on or off. Now let's just do on again, and if I do a list, you see it's off and it's off and everything is on. And forget run level 1, it's different. It's just like a safe mode in Windows. You see safe mode in Windows, it's just the same, and run level 2, 3, and 4. So now what we can do is just copy the IP address. Just copy it, go to a web browser, just paste it, and send. it says Apache test page powered by CentOS. Now what if the firewall is running? So let's say etc, okay, sorry, if I do an etc NxZ, just understand that I'm doing something related to service. I'm just starting it off and on. So in Linux 6 RHEL 6, the firewall is called as IP tables. If you do a status, it says IP table or firewall is not running. What if I start this firewall? Okay, it says no config var. Okay, it's a minimal installation, no problem. But make sure to add a firewall chain or rule for this service so that you can access in your network. And okay, it's up and running. Now I want to show you some configuration files for Apache, which is HTTPG, called in CentOS 6. So to get the configuration file, we do a RPM. Now I told you a difference between a yum and RPM. What is an RPM? RPM is just like a package manager, a Red Hat package manager, and yum is a yellow dog update modifier. What does RPM do is just install the package which we specify, whereas yum install package along with its dependencies. So never forget that. This is very important, guys. So to get the configuration files, we do rpm-qc and httpg. As you know, what is this q hyphen flag or switch, whatever you want to call it? This Q stands for quiet and C stands for configuration files. If you don't know anything about flags, just do an hyphen help and it will show you everything. What I just did was hyphen Q and C, right? So you see config files, C stands for config files and Q just stands for quiet. You see, quiet provide less detailed outputs. So I just did that. QC. By the way, you can do anything for this. Like if you want to do, let's say ls is a command, right? If you do an help hyphen help, it will show you every flag available for it. So do not saw -v. You can also print it in reverse order, and you can list inodes. If you don't know inodes what it is, just ignore it. And you can list everything. Okay, later. So let's do an rpm-qc for Apache, which is our service name is httpg. So when I do this, you see a lot of files. So what we basically wanna give attention to is this configuration files. Now how do I know this is the configuration file and this is not a configuration file? Basically, if you know what is a Linux file system structure, /etc stands for etc, which is etc we call it. Whatever directory or whatever thing which is inside this directory or this folder, it's gonna be the configuration thing. Okay, so whatever it is, let's say this is etc and httpg. So it is like let's say if let's say if I have some another service like Samba, so it could have been like etc/Samba. Now if you are confused, like what is this slash do, what the fuck is this slash and whatever, so basically the slash is like let me explain. If I go to cd and slash, now what is a cd command? Cd is basically change directory. What is a directory? Let's say change, let me spell it for you, change directory. And what is directory is nothing but a folder. So what I'm going to do with this command is like change directory or change folder to slash. Now this is the file system. You have to understand the file system to know what it is. And if you guys want to know what is a file system and learn more about file system, you can comment so I can make videos on that. Okay, let's do an ls here with a flag l, which is long list in a list list in a list format actually. If you see like this example, ls, it shows like straight up, but if you do ls-l, it's going a vertical way. So as you can see, my pwd, which is my present working directory, these are just basic commands. I'm just showing you up. So it says I'm in slash. Now if I do ls-l, it's showing me some this. As you can see, my etc directory is present here. So basically, slash is the root folder of a Linux system. So whatever thing we have will be inside this slash. Okay, to make it more easy, everything will be inside slash. So your full system or full operating system is inside this slash. This is the root of your operating system. So let's continue with our Apache thing. So it says etc, as I told you. NxZ stands for configuration files. Every config files is inside this directory, no matter if it is HTTPD or Samba or MySQL or any other service, or it's going to be inside this etc directory. Okay, so our main constant is this file. As you can see, it's welcome.conf and magic and HTTPD, it's log rotate. Our main constant is this file, which is in etc directory, etc folder, inside httpd and conf and httpd.conf, httpd.conf. So if I do an ls of this, okay, this file exists. Now where is it? If I go to slash etc and if I do an ls, the many directories, or I can do, let's say, cd ht tab. Just use tab, guys, just use tab, it's just fun. cd co tab, and if I do an ls-l here, you can use ls. I just prefer to use ls-lh rc. Use ls-l for now. Let's make it simple. You can see there's a configuration file here named httpd.conf. If I do a pwd, which is present working directory, I'm inside etc, httpd and conf directory. So before continuing with our Apache configuration, what we're going to do is we're going to take a backup of this file. So how we're going to do is we just copy it. CP stands for copy. In Windows, we just right click and copy. In the same way, we do a cp htt tab and httpd conf touch original or backup, whatever you want to call them. This call it original. Now if you can see, we have two files which we just created, 1 and 2. Okay, now we can use any editor you like. You can use Vim. There are many editors in Linux. You can use, you can use Vim editor, or you can use a VI, Nano, or Emacs. These are just editors, guys. These are just word editors, like Notepad++ in Windows. These are just like that, but it's in command line. Okay, so we do a VI editor. It's an editor. VI is an editor. httpd.conf. okay, just enter. Okay, this is my configuration file. It says section 1, a global environment. So let's just ignore this. I'm not gonna configure anything, or do I? Let's configure something. To search for anything in a VI editor or Vim editor, you do slash s slash and thing you want to find. I'm going to just find a server name. Now it is commented. How do I know it's commented? The hash here indicates that it is a comment. That means it won't read these lines of file. It's just gonna read something which is not commented, like this. Okay, so I'm just gonna exit this, and as you can see, it's running. Let me show you some bit more about now the main. Okay, let's do this way. I'm gonna open a notepad. Sorry for this. Main things to consider. Some main things, I would say. Main things to consider in Apache is you just have to look for this so that everything goes well. The first one is document roots. The caps here is like this is how it's written in the configuration file, and the second one you have to do is a C for server name. This is optional. It doesn't matter if you have, and this is very important, guys. This is very important, and you have basically you have to look for this only. When we configure virtual host, I'll show you all things. What's my terminal? Different things now. Now, if I search for document roots, sorry, as you can see, my document root is inside where www and html. So let's just go into that directory and see what we can do. So it was /where and html. If I do an ls, it's nothing. So let's quickly create let's say it like this. And file, html file. Sorry guys. Okay, we have created an index.html in our document root of Apache web server. Let's see what happens now. Just refresh this page. You see? Magic. I've created a file here and it's showing in my web browser. So let us see something more. So if I go to my